It started with little things, the kind of things a wife notices but tells herself not to make a mountain out of. Emily had been married to Ryan for 8 years. They had a little boy together, Adam, who was 7 and adored his father. To anyone else, their marriage seemed solid, maybe even enviable. Ryan had a steady job. Emily worked part-time from home, and they lived in a neat suburban house. But behind the curtains, fractures were spreading quietly, and the person who should have been her ally, the one who brought her into the family, was sharpening the cracks into deep wounds. Her mother-in-law, Patricia, had never approved of Emily. From the very first day Ryan brought her home, Patricia's smile had been too tight, her compliments faintly poisoned. Emily came from a modest background, while Patricia prided herself on her family's standards. She'd always believed her son deserved more, someone with wealth, someone with status, someone she could boast about at her tea parties. But Ryan had chosen Emily for her warmth, her kindness, the way she made a house feel like a home. Over the years, Patricia wore her disapproval like perfume, subtle but ever-present. Emily tried. She cooked Patricia's favorite meals, invited her over often, included her in Adam's milestones. But no matter how much she tried, Patricia's eyes always held that gleam, like she was waiting for Emily to slip. And eventually, Emily did, though not in the way Patricia expected. It began when Emily noticed Ryan's phone never left his side. He used to leave it on the table, forget in the kitchen, but lately it was glued to his hand. He laughed at messages she never saw, locked the bathroom door when he showered, and worked late more often than not. When she asked, he brushed it off. "You're imagining things, Em. I'm stressed with work. Don't make it harder." But she wasn't imagining things. The distance was real. His kisses were quick and distracted, his touch cold. Nights once spent tangled in each other's warmth were now separated by silence, and the glow of his phone screen turned away from her. The cruelest part was when Patricia began dropping hints, little daggers wrapped in sugar. "You know, dear, a man like Ryan needs excitement. Men get bored. Maybe if you paid more attention to yourself instead of the house, he'd be happier." She said it casually with a shrug, sipping her tea. Emily's stomach twisted because the words felt too specific, too deliberate. Did Patricia know something? The truth revealed itself in the ugliest way possible. One afternoon, Emily stopped by Patricia's house to drop off Adam. She had a work call and needed Patricia to watch him. When she entered, she froze in the doorway. Ryan's jacket was draped over a chair. She heard voices, Ryan's laugh, low and familiar, followed by a woman's giggle. It wasn't Patricia's. It was younger, flirtatious. Emily crept closer, heart-hammering, and then she saw it. Ryan with another woman, sitting intimately close on Patricia's sofa, her hand brushing his knee. Patricia sat across from them, smiling like a queen admiring her subjects. She wasn't shocked. She wasn't angry. She was approving. Emily's breath caught. She stumbled back, almost knocking over a vase. They hadn't noticed her, but Adam's little footsteps clattered in behind her. "Mommy," he called. The room fell silent. Ryan shot up, eyes wide, but Patricia didn't flinch. She rose slowly, smoothing her blouse, and looked at Emily with a smirk. "Well," Patricia said coolly, "I suppose the cat's out of the bag." The next few minutes felt like a nightmare Emily couldn't wake from. Ryan tried to stammer an explanation, but the silence between him and the other woman said more than words. Patricia didn't bother to hide her disdain. "You should have expected this, Emily. Ryan deserves more than a plain little housewife who can't keep his interests." Emily's hands shook as she grabbed at him, shielding him from the scene. Tears blurred her eyes, but she forced herself to look at Ryan. "In your mother's house? With her blessing? You've been lying to me, to our son?" Ryan looked ashamed for half a second, then turned defensive, the way guilty men do. "You don't understand, Em. I didn't plan for this to happen. But Mom's right. You've changed. You're not the same woman I married." His words were a knife, but the way Patricia smiled as he said them was worse. That smile said she'd won. Emily didn't scream. She didn't throw things. Instead, she held Adam tighter and walked out. Her dignity was the only thing they couldn't take from her. That night, She packed what she could, her heart breaking as she explained gently to Adam that they were going to stay somewhere else for a while. He cried, asking if Daddy was coming. Emily couldn't answer. The days that followed were the darkest Emily had ever known. She replayed every moment in her mind, questioning what she could have done differently. But then, slowly, clarity settled in. It wasn't her fault that Ryan was weak. It wasn't her fault his mother's poison had seeped so deep into him. Betrayal wasn't born from her flaws. It was born from their choices. Ryan tried calling. Messages poured in, apologies mixed with blame. It was a mistake. You pushed me away. Let's talk for Adam's sake. Emily read them all, but her heart had hardened. She realized a man she thought was her partner had never truly left his mother's grasp. She had been fighting a losing battle from start. One evening, Patricia herself showed up at Emily's door, smug as ever. Be reasonable, Emily. Men stray, but family is family. Don't ruin Adam's life over this. Forgive him and move on. Emily looked her straight in the eye. Strength she didn't know she had rising in her chest. You ruined this family long before Ryan ever cheated. And I won't let my son grow up thinking betrayal is normal. She closed the door on Patricia's stunned face and never opened it again. In time, Emily built a new life. It wasn't easy. Raising Adam alone was hard. The nights were lonelier, the silence heavier. But slowly, she rediscovered herself. She laughed again. She breathed freely. And every time she saw Adam smile, she knew she had made the right choice. Ryan and Patricia remained shadows of her past. Proof of how cruel betrayal could be when love and loyalty were twisted by selfishness. Emily's scar was deep, but it also became her strength. She had walked the fire of a cheating husband and an evil mother-in-law, and she emerged not broken, but unshakably whole. The first weeks after leaving Ryan were a blur of exhaustion and grief. Emily had moved in temporarily with her sister Claire, who lived 30 minutes away. Claire was fiery where Emily was soft-spoken, and she didn't bother hiding her anger. Honestly, Claire said one night as they sat on the couch with tea after Adam had fallen asleep, I never trusted Patricia. That woman's eyes could cut glass. But Ryan? I thought at least he loved you enough to stand up to her. Turns out he's just her puppet. Emily's throat tightened. It's like I didn't just lose him, Claire. I lost the life I thought I had. Every memory feels tainted now. Was he lying even when he held me? Was every I love you just practice for her approval? Claire set her cup down and leaned forward. Listen to me. You love him honestly. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But don't let his weakness define you. Adam needs to see that strength runs in his mother's bloodline, not that family of snakes. Emily smiled faintly. Her sister's bluntness always had a way of grounding her. Still, the wound ran deep. Nights were the worst. Lying awake, hearing Adam's soft breathing beside her, and wondering how she'd explain the kind of betrayal that words could never fully capture. Ryan called often at first. Sometimes it was angry. You're tearing this family apart, Emily. Come home. Sometimes it was pleading, I made a mistake. We can fix this. Other times, it was guilt-ridden. Think of Adam. He needs his father. One evening, when Adam was asleep, Emily answered. Ryan, she said softly. There was a pause. Then his voice, weary. Thank God. I've been losing my mind. Please, just hear me out. Her chest tightened. I heard enough when I walked into your mother's house and saw you with her sitting there like a queen, smiling at your betrayal. Do you realize what that did to me? It wasn't like that. Don't lie to me, she snapped, her voice shaking. You sat there and let her approve of what you were doing. You let her tell me I wasn't enough. You let her humiliate me in front of my son. His silence spoke louder than any excuse. Finally, Ryan whispered, I don't know why I did it. Mom was pushing me, telling me you weren't making me happy anymore. And when I met Vanessa, Emily froze. Vanessa, she has a name. She was just different. She made me feel alive again. But it didn't mean I stopped loving you. Emily's breath caught. Tears spilled silently down her cheeks, but her voice came out steady. You don't get to love me halfway, Ryan. Not when you chose her. Not when you chose your mother over your wife. And certainly not when you shattered Adam's home. Em, please. She ended the call. For the first time, she didn't feel weak. She felt resolute. But Patricia wasn't done. 2 days later, Emily was walking Adam home from school when Patricia pulled up in her polished black car. She rolled the window down, sunglasses perched on her nose. "Emily," she called, her tone falsely sweet. "We need to talk." Emily's grip on Adam's hand tightened. "I don't think we do." Patricia sighed as if speaking to a stubborn child. "You're overreacting. Men stray, dear. It doesn't mean the end of a marriage. Ryan regrets what happened. You can't punish him forever." Emily's eyes blazed. "Punish him? He destroyed us, Patricia. And you—" Her voice shook with fury. "You watched it happen and encouraged it." Patricia smiled thinly. "Because I want what's best for my son. And frankly, you were never it. But if you're smart, you'll come back. You'll swallow your pride and raise Adam in a proper home. Otherwise, well, children suffer the most when mothers make poor choices." Emily's blood ran cold. It wasn't just manipulation. It was a threat. She crouched to Adam's level, ignoring Patricia. "Sweetheart, go on inside and wash your hands. Mommy will be right there." When Adam hurried inside, Emily stood tall. "Let me make this very clear. You don't scare me anymore. You will not use my son as leverage. Patricia, if you or Ryan try to interfere with my parenting, you'll see exactly how strong I can be, and you'll regret underestimating me." For the first time, Patricia's confident mask faltered. Emily turned and walked away, her heart pounding, but her spine straight. That night, she sat with Adam while he colored at the table. He looked up at her innocently and asked, "Mommy, when is Daddy coming back home?" Emily's chest ached. She smoothed his hair and kissed his forehead. "Daddy made some mistakes, sweetheart. But no matter what, Mommy will always be here. You and me were a team." Adam smiled, and for the first time since everything crumbled, Emily felt hope. She didn't know what the future would hold. Custody battles, harsh words, lonely nights. But she knew one thing with certainty. She had faced the betrayal of a husband and the cruelty of an evil mother-in-law. And she had not broken. She had survived. And now she would rebuild.